If you hate Siege's Rank 2.0, then this video is for you. Today, I'm going to be suggesting 2 entirely new ranked system concepts that would fix all of the awful problems that you have been facing in Rank 2.0, such as being stuck in a low rank, playing champions as a silver, experiencing boosting, losing more RP than you're gaining, etc. Make sure you stick around until the end to hear news from Ubisoft about a Ranked 3.0. And besides for that, let's get started. So, most people would tell you that Rank 2.0 is the worst thing that has happened to this game, and that's honestly saying something. This whole hidden elo concept makes sense, but is absolutely atrocious. At least Valorant, which has the same concept, can execute it somewhat well. I think hidden elo could work, even though it's a little bit shady, but it's a component that I think they should continue to work on. What I would do to fix the system is completely scrap Rank 2.0 and 1.0 and begin developing an entirely new Ranked 3.0. This Ranked 3.0 would take components from both of its previous versions, but would work it into something entirely new. First, players will still have to play 10 placement matches at the start of every season, and hidden elo will still be in effect, so you may have an unfair matchmaking experience for a game or two in your placements, but by the time the game realizes you don't belong in that lobby, it will adjust and not punish you in your reflected rank that you get placed in. So no more grinding from all the way back in Copper 5, and I don't really care if this brings back the smurfing problem because that's honestly the least of our concerns now with all of the new issues that 2.0 has created. And to be honest, hidden elo would be reflected on a smurf account anyway from their placement matches, so it shouldn't be as much of a problem, but like I said, even if it did become a problem, I would much rather have smurfs in all of my lobbies than being a silver playing with champions, because that's just not fair. So there will still be 2 ranks like how there is now, a rank that you see and an MMR that is hidden. If a player were to get put into a game with players that have higher hidden elos on the other team, then they will gain more RP if they win and lose less RP if they lose. You won't be able to scale full ranks from winning one game either, which I will touch on in a minute. This system would be similar to Ranked 1.0, except it would be like gaining 90 MMR as the max and losing 30 MMR as the minimum after you play a certain amount of games. That was definitely a problem with both 1.0 and 2.0. After you would play enough games, there was really no point in playing anymore because you were hardly gaining 10 MMR or RP, whatever you want to call it. So rather than starting off by gaining 125 MMR and eventually moving all the way down to, only gaining 9 or something like that, the range will be smaller with just 90 to 30. And it will take longer to get to that point where you're only gaining 30, if that makes sense. And this is to incentivize people to not create smurfs to begin with because they can't move in the ranks anymore. And I think I did touch on this earlier, but it will take about 150 RP per rank to move up. So this could mean winning about 2 games at the beginning of the season, depending on how much RP you're gaining, or maybe about 5 games by the end of the season after you have played a whole bunch of games. But either way, it won't make you go on some crazy 15-game winning streak anymore just to barely rank up by the end of the season, because that's just not fun anymore at that point. And I think this is a big problem. A huge issue in Rainbow Six Siege's sort of season retention is that you can see the active players start so high at the beginning of the season and then just dip so far by the end of that season. And I really do think that this is 80% because people cannot move up in their ranks anymore. And that's not because of a skill issue, that's because they physically are just unable to move up. They're not gaining enough ranked points, they're not gaining enough MMR to move. Now speaking of, when thinking about how to assess rank decay, I think there needs to be a balance between Ranked 1.0 and 2.0, which has pretty much been the method for all of my Ranked 3.0 concepts so far, but nevertheless, you used to lose way too much MMR in Ranked 1.0, and I think you don't lose enough RP now in relation to how much you gain in Ranked 2.0, to the point where the system has pretty much just become a battle pass. The more you play ranked, the more you'll rank up, no matter how bad you are, considering there's hardly any rank decay at all. I think in Ranked 3.0, you should lose about 2/3 of what you gain, at least most of the time. And this does depend on, the elo of the other team that you're playing, obviously, like how I touched on before, but this would be the standard, that's what we would kind of work with. This way, you are still going to be moving up in ranks throughout the season, and, you won't chalk 2 hours because you won a game and then next game you lost, bringing you back to neutral, but at the same time, it's not like it takes 6 losses to equate to 1 win, if that makes sense. So So a lot of this is because it's just way too easy to be a higher rank than you actually are in this game, at least for some people. Like, there are people who are champ or diamond that don't deserve that just because they play a lot. I just think it's the perfect risk to reward ratio in terms of a ranked system. I also think that diamond rank should drop from 5 tiers to just 3 tiers, and champions should have to play 100 matches again before they hit max rank no matter what, just like back in 1.0. Like how I just said, it's way too easy to hit champ, so because of this, I would make champion rank much more exclusive, as only the top 1,000 players on that respective platform, and everyone who is champ will have their number rank on their icon again. 2.0 is so messed up that you have people like Anifex who are actual champions, like literally stuck in bronze, but you also have people who are true platinums that just happen to play 300 matches this season and they are hitting champions. So it's just kind of all over the place. We're just kind of trying to make it balanced, but it's a really slippery slope. I don't even know how that situation is possible, but in rank 2.0, that's just kind of where we're sitting at right now. Now, next up, we're going to be looking at an even more intriguing fix to rank 2.0. This concept is entirely different than anything else I've seen before, so I think it's at least worth talking about. It might be interesting to you guys. The one that I'm specifically looking at was originally a Reddit post, which I'll throw up on the screen now so you guys have the credit from where I'm getting this from. Basically, instead of everyone starting in Copper 5 at the beginning of the season, they'll start in Silver 5 with no placement matches, since it's roughly the center of the bell curve, if you know what I mean. So this would also include a system that doesn't involve any hidden MMR at all, and in fact, it will be a similar MMR system to ranked 1.0. You'll be put into lobbies where both teams have the same average MMR, which is not a new concept or anything, but some lobbies may have larger ranges, like, you know, you may have a Diamond 4 in the same lobby as a Champ, and that just might be the range, and some lobbies might be closer to just Diamond 1 to Champ, so it all depends on who is in the matchmaking, obviously, but either way, it would end up with the same average MMR on both sides, so it really shouldn't matter. You shouldn't have a super lopsided game where you have 3 champions on one team and 2 emeralds, and then the other team is like 4 plats and then 1 diamond, you know? There will be restrictions to this so that boosting is difficult to do. I'm sure you guys were thinking that when I first said it. So champions will still be able to physically play with their platinum friends, so it's not like 1.0 in that sense, it's more like 2.0. But the lower the average MMR is in a lobby, the smaller amount that, you know, champion or whatever will gain if they do win with that platinum friend. So boosting wouldn't be a quick and easy process like how you probably think it is, although it would technically still be possible, just less convenient. In this concept, there would also be a grace period for lost ranks, like how there is in rank 2.0. So when you lose a game, you go down to the 0 MMR in your current rank, and you have another chance to, you know, stay in that rank that you're in. However, this grace period would be turned off after 50 matches to keep ranks from becoming too inflated. There would also be a winning streak bonus, which I love and I think is something that needs to be in this game. I'm honestly surprised that it's not. But basically, if you win 3 games in a row, you'll earn a MMR bonus for each win following, and it will continue to increase until you lose. There is also a floor to how much MMR you can gain, which is 25. This is so that there won't be any more times by the end of the season where you're only gaining 9 MMR and losing 20, and it just becomes impossible to play ranked anymore at that point, and I sort of talked about this in my last concept also just a few minutes ago. I think this will just overall allow people to move into their respective ranks more easily. However, I could see it becoming a problem for low ranked players. Since everyone would be starting in Silver 5, people who are legitimate Copper 5s who've never played the game before and are just starting out will have to lose multiple matches in a row to get to their earned rank. This is extremely frustrating and demoralizing for everyone involved, and although the system would work out well for high ranks, it's just really not fair or viable at all for lower ranks. So it sort of incentivizes the top players and leaves the bottom players in the dust. And to be fair, Ubisoft has done this for years now with how they really prioritize Pro League over, you know, the normal casual scene of the game, but that's neither here nor there. So something I forgot to touch on, this would also mean that cheaters can achieve top rank quicker with the winning streaks that I mentioned just a few moments ago. So, there definitely seems to be some flaws in this system, but after the creator of this concept ran hundreds of simulations, it would suggest that the rank distribution on a bar graph would look like this by the end of the season. So, in theory, it would be a good system considering this is kind of a ideal place to be in on the rank distribution, but in actuality, I just don't think it would really work out. Now, I told you guys I would save you something for the end, so unfortunately, it's basically confirmed from Ubisoft, from everything I've seen, that Rank 2.0 is here to stay. So obviously, in regards to what they tweak or add in or change about Rank 2.0 in each season is uncertain. Maybe they'll make little tiny changes, but the bare structure of it isn't going anywhere. So remember, all this critique comes from a place of love for this game, not a place of hate, and maybe us as a community can spark some kind of a change, because Rank 2.0 is really not working out all that well. And if Ubisoft really wants to get Rainbow Six Siege to a place where they have 100 operators in the game a couple years down the line, they better make sure they do something to keep their player base engaged, because right now we're kind of dropping like flies. Let me know if you guys love or hate these two concepts that I introduced in this video for a new rank system, or let me know your guys' own ideas or how you would change mine down in the comments. But anyways, thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you all in the next one. Peace.